So together with the news of the release date for Season 1 of Doctor Who, Ncuti Gatwa's first full season in the role as the 15th Doctor, we got a very, very short little new trailer as well, with some new shots in there. I don't think it was any reused footage, I think it was all new shots. Nothing massively exciting in the way of new characters or monsters or anything, but still worth a look, and I think this has kind of dropped under the radar a little bit. I haven't seen loads of people talking about it, so I thought I'd do a breakdown of this very, very short little trailer, going through each shot, trying to work out which episodes they're all from, and just generally trying to mine it all for all it's worth, really. So we begin with this shot of Ruby and the Doctor exiting the TARDIS at some sort of outdoors location with kind of rocks and stuff behind and moss and what have you. It might sort of put you in mind of that filming that took place in Tenby on the cliff top, but I believe that was for a later episode. So this is a similar sort of setup where the Doctor and Ruby have landed at some sort of outdoors location. Not sure where this was filmed or where they're meant to be, but I would wager that it comes very, very early on in the series and very early on in the first episode, actually. I think this is probably like Ruby's first trip in the TARDIS that we see on screen. I suppose there's some debate about whether there are going to be extra adventures, you know, between the end of the Church and Ruby Road and the start of this series, because already, like in Doctor Who magazine, there's a comic strip ongoing, there's stuff with the Titan comics. You know, will this be Ruby's first adventure in the TARDIS or not? I suppose it probably will be, and those adventures will fit later on in the timeline, so maybe this is literally the first time, you know, she's travelled in the TARDIS and travelled to a new place, or just moved in space, and we're going to kind of go through the motions of that with her in a kind of little pre-title sequence maybe, or some sequence early on in the episode, followed by the main bulk of it after that. And the Doctor over the top of that saying, "Are you ready for this?" We then have another shot which must also be from episode 1, based on the costumes the Doctor and Ruby are wearing, and also the environments they're in, some sort of space station or spaceship or futuristic base, not quite sure which of those options it will be, but it seems to be some sort of story set in the future, set in space, you know, the same kind of environments where we saw that bogeyman creature in the other trailer, and some other shots of the Doctor and Ruby, and that preview clip as well in Doctor Who Unleashed, where we saw them kind of walking around and about to bump into that monster. And Ruby there saying, well, come on, which again would figure, you know, would fit with this. You know, she's there, you know, it's early days for her and for her travels in the TARDIS. She's still very naive, very excited by everything. We have the Doctor and Ruby looking very, very dapper indeed in their 60s outfits. This must be from episode 2, The Devil's Cord, which we now know we're going to be getting alongside episode 1 on the 11th of May, or the 10th, depending where you're based, as a double bill. We have the Doctor in the TARDIS saying, give me a number, give me a year. So again, I think this comes from episode 1, you know, early on, in early days for the Doctor and Ruby. He's there kind of introducing her to the TARDIS and how time travel and space travel works. We have a shot of the pair back in that futuristic setting, turning round. And then a reaction shot of them both looking very shocked and frightened. Presumably they're facing the bogeyman at this point, you know, seeing it for the first time. Love how the Doctor's there, kind of hugging Ruby protectively, love that. We have a shot of the Doctor from the opposite end of the series, the finale, I believe, based on the outfit he's wearing there, the kind of the white t-shirt and the black leather jacket. We saw him wearing that filming for episodes 7 and 8, so I presume that's the episode this is from, and he's there saying, it's going to be a moment. Probably the most exciting shot of the trailer now, it's Kate Stewart back in Unit's headquarters with, I believe, that new Curl character to her left, and behind them, what would appear to be Yasmin Finney's character Rose, who we know is also going to be joining Unit based on that first trailer where we see the Doctor meeting her in Unit headquarters. So yeah, I think this is very exciting. We've got Kate there saying, you know, here it comes, very doom-laden, very ominous, and I think she's really established now, you know, as the kind of the modern day equivalent of the Brigadier. She's met so many Doctors, she's been around so much. It's very interesting as well, each time we see Kate, it's quite slightly different in terms of the way she's dressed or the way she's written based on the costume designer or the writer in a particular episode or particular era. You know, each time we see her, she looks that little bit older, but also a little bit more sophisticated and wise and kind of stylish and in command and in control, and I think this really continues that trend. So yeah, really looking forward to seeing what's next for Kate. We know she's going to be cropping up earlier on in the series, I believe maybe in episode 4, with that story with politician dude, Roderick William, and presumably then in the finale as well, because that's the story that Yasmin Finney will be reappearing in. We've then got the Doctor back on that spaceship or space station by the look of it from episode 1, looking through some kind of glass pane or panel, presumably at the bogeyman or something of that type. The air date, May 11th. And last but not least, a very intriguing shot of the Doctor looking to camera and seemingly winking at the viewer, certainly winking down the camera. It would appear to be a kind of fourth wall breaking moment, like we've seen in the past with Tom Baker and I think like Invasion of Time, was it? Or more recently, you know, with Peter Capaldi and Heaven Sent, say, or Before the Flood. You know, those occasions where the Doctor does appear to be kind of breaking out of the television screen and looking at us and communicating with us and kind of gesturing to us. Now, with this as well, because the Doctor and Ruby are obviously wearing their 60s outfits, this is from episode 2, The Devil's Chord, the Beatles episode, I could be getting carried away with myself here, but could this be from some sort of musical number? Because we know that there's going to be lots of music in this episode, you know, with Jinx Monsoon's character, with the Beatles as well, and I just wonder whether this shot could be part of a bigger sequence where the Doctor's had a bit of a singer dance and he's kind of rounding it off by literally winking down the camera at the viewer, sort of very knowing sort of thing there. Yeah, I'm no expert on musicals and stuff, but that was my first thought with this, that it could be part of something bigger than it seems. Whatever the case, you know, it's a very sort of cheeky little moment there of the Doctor winking to the viewer. We love to see it. And then we have the Doctor Who logo, but not the version that appears in the title sequence. One is arguably better, the kind of the green version with the kind of spirally, multicoloured vortex behind it. I've seen people kind of say, why is this not the title sequence? And I suppose there's still time for them to kind of change the title sequence ahead of the series actually, you know, premiering. But given that they kept it for the church on Ruby Road without any changes from the 60th specials, I'm not sure how likely that is, but hey, you never know. And there we have it. So just a very short little trailer there, about 15-20 seconds of footage, but all new footage and some intriguing stuff in there, even if it's not kind of massive sort of game-changing reveals or new monsters or anything like that. We do get to see Kate again, some more of the Doctor and Ruby as well, and some, yeah, little bits and pieces like that kind of fourth wall breaking thing where it's like, what's going on here then? It has also been confirmed, I think, by Disney that we are going to be getting a new trailer on Friday of next week, so do stay tuned for that. You know, hopefully that's going to be a fuller sort of affair with more reveals or monsters or whatever in it. But what are your thoughts on this trailer? What are your theories based on what we've seen? And as well, if you haven't let me know yet, what are your thoughts on this whole new release strategy for Doctor Who, which I did a separate video about. But yes, the whole thing of releasing it at midnight on iPlayer in the UK, of having it at the same time around the world as well with Disney Plus, the double bill thing with episodes 1 and 2. What are your thoughts on that? Be sure to let me know down in the comments below. If you have enjoyed this video, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new for more stuff like this in the future. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye for now.